Let's have some spooky season bullet journal fun. Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. My name is Beth and I love Halloween. Today I'm sharing 10 fun and festive Halloween spreads for your bullet journal. Let's jump right into it with the creepy countdown. This one is a little late, admittedly, but no less fun. It is set up like a doodle-a-day spread, or even a Halloween advent calendar. I began with the header and the pumpkin in the bottom corner, and then sketched in the rectangle shapes, erasing and adjusting as needed until I had a full 31. Only then did I outline them with a black fine liner. Once the shapes are in place, I sketch very simple Halloween doodles in each box. A ghost, a moon, a cauldron, a crystal ball, a black cat, some candy, a potion bottle, and so much more. You can make the doodles as detailed as you like. I went the simple route using a circle stencil as my base for things like the cauldron and the crystal ball. A quick Google search for Halloween doodles will pop up more inspiration in varying styles. Here I'm outlining all the doodles so you can see the calendar partially complete. For my own journal, I will then play catch up by using this like a coloring book and coloring in the doodles for October 1st through 9th. That way I can color one doodle a day for the rest of the month. Now let's play some Halloween games. First up is Butterscotch Bingo. It's bingo, but better, because candy is involved. Set this up like a standard bingo board with 25 squares, 5 across and 5 down. Then pick a candy for the freebie middle square. Here in the United States, all trick-or-treaters come home with Tootsie Rolls. It's a Halloween given. Fill in the remaining squares with a combination of higher and lower end candy options for where you live. For example, if I was not in the States, Smarties and Crunchies would make my list instead of Skittles and Butterfinger. My boys are grown, but analyzing the candy haul was always a favorite activity. This simply puts another spin on it. Of course, some of us have offices that keep a candy stash for an adult version of the game. And if bingo is foreign to you, the idea is to get 5 squares in a row, either across, up and down, or across the diagonal. You could also limit your Halloween sugar intake by stopping once you hit bingo, but Halloween only comes once a year. Next up, let's make a potion or two. There are 2 ways to play this game. The first is an adult alcoholic version where you build an unpredictable cocktail. The second is the home scent essential oils version where maybe you'll discover a new fall combination. We're going to play the cocktail version today. The idea is to assign an ingredient and color to each roll of the die. I'm using 3 liquors and 3 mixers. Once done, roll the dice to get 3 ingredients. I ended up with vodka and gin plus some tonic water, but I also kept my ingredients fairly safe. Then you want to give your Halloween cocktail or scent some sort of name, possibly a combination of the ingredients. If I were doing the essential oils version, eucalyptus, sage, and lemon would be my go-to choices, so I'd have to spice up the odds with 3 others that are unexpected. Now I'm going to let my geek flag fly. Cosplay Quest is a costume scavenger hunt. Play this at a Halloween party or while you're handing out candy at your door to see if you can identify one costume from every fandom on the list. Most of the options are pretty standard, but I threw in a couple wild cards to make it a little harder. My list is Marvel Comics, My Hero Academia, Star Wars, Final Fantasy, Classic Nintendo, Studio Ghibli, Power Rangers, Disney Pixar, DC Comics, Hocus Pocus, Pokemon, Star Trek, Harry Potter, and Among Us. You can definitely customize this one with a list of your own fandoms. The second line below each category is for you to write the character name you identify. If you can't identify the character, then it doesn't count. But what do you do if you need to come up with your own cosplay? Costume in my closet is inspired by a real-life scenario when I needed a Halloween costume and had no time to plan. The idea here is to pick 10 items from your wardrobe that could possibly make up part of a costume. For example, I own a long black dress. That's always a good base for a witch, Elvira, the Grim Reaper, whatever. Once that is done, mix and match sets of 3 to come up with individual costumes, or the beginnings of costumes that may just need a quick DIY or accessory purchase. One year, I found faux leather pants, a classic Batman t-shirt, and some 3-inch heel ankle boots. So that's what I wore, and everyone knew that I was Batgirl. I'm not going to fill this out in its entirety, but you get the idea. Before you head out to the costume store, shop your closet. It will save you time and money. The goal is to look at your clothes or accessories first and think about the costumes second. And yes, I own a Panama Jack hat. Who's ready for some tricks and some treats? This isn't what you think. Tricks and treats is my October gratitude and self-care list. Tricks are a list of things which make me laugh. Treats are things that make me feel special. For treats, that can be a pedicure, dark chocolate, or just a long hot shower. Faramir, my boy cat, both of my sons, boy 1 and boy 2, and the television show The Office are all things that make me laugh. Your list would be tailored to you. Spread number 7 is the Halloween Time Machine. I set this up as a memory keeping sort of spread with a spot for my first Halloween memory and space to see how well I retell an old ghost story. I also have room for Halloween favorites, song, story, movie, and beverage. Right now, those are Stroke of Midnight by Here Come the Mummies, Edgar Allan Poe's Pit and the Pendulum, Practical Magic, and good old coffee. How about your worst and best costume? I'm still thinking about the worst, but my best costume was Madonna, complete with comb bra and high ponytail. It was a lifetime ago. Then I set up a Halloween Never Have I Ever section. From bobbing for apples to watching horror films, it's a prompt to help you fill out a fall wish list in the future. This is also a great spread for personalization. You could also make it a Me Now page and compare it each Halloween to see what you loved or disliked each year. Last up are 3 Halloween media spreads. First is a century of Sinister Cinema. I have friends who do 31-day Halloween movie marathons, but that's a pretty heavy commitment. So I'm going to shoot for 1 from each of the last 10 decades, plus 1 from this decade. Now, what is considered the first horror film is a short little silent called House of the Devil from 1896, but we're going to start in the 1920s. I set this up with the decades on the left, a space for the film in the center, and then brackets on the right to note the actual year the film was released. Here is my list for this year. Some of these are free on YouTube. Most of the others are available to stream from one of the many streaming services we have now. Nosferatu 1922, The Phantom 1931, The Wolfman from 1941, House on Haunted Hill 1959, Psycho from 1960, Hitchcock is definitely my kind of suspense and horror, The Original Halloween from 1978, The Lost Boys from 1987, Don't Judge, it's still one of my favorite films, Scream from 1996, The Others from 2001, A Quiet Place from 2018, one of the most brilliant films ever made, and Malignant from 2021, which is probably not my cup of tea, but I'm going to give it a try. I can then check them off as I finish, and I might just watch them in order of release. But I am even more excited to read some spooky stories. My theory for setting up a spooky story list is that short stories are meant to be read in one sitting, especially spooky ones. That way you don't break the suspense to go off and do something like the laundry. I also limited it to 7, which can spread out over the month, or be condensed to 1 story a day leading up to Halloween night. Some of these are available online. If I can find them, I will link them below. Here are my story choices for 2021. The Truth is a Cave in the Black Mountains by Neil Gaiman. He's my favorite. The Landlady by Roald Dahl. Yes, the children's author. Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. The Outsider by H.P. Lovecraft. The Doll by Daphne du Maurier, The Empty House by Algernon Blackwood, and All the Fabulous Beasts by Priya Sharma. I also used a tiny star stencil to set up a rating system. I'll fill in the stars based on how I feel about these reads. I'm going to pre-fill the Telltale Heart with 5 stars as a sample because I know that will be my review. I put 1 star next to the doll as a sample, but I bet I increased that one once read. It's a pretty great list if I do say so myself, but I'm just being a big nerd. Speaking of being a nerd, one of my favorite Halloween activities is building an annual paranormal playlist. Here are the covers for those playlists. All of them are public on Spotify and they date back to 2010. I skipped 2012 for some reason, but I wasn't bullet journaling then, so I can't pinpoint what held me up that year. Each one has a different vibe. Forbidden Forest has the Halloween classics, that's where you'll find Thriller. Conclave of Lost Shadows has a witchy vibe, and Voodoo Blues is probably still my favorite of the bunch. This year's list is Rattlin' Bones. You can follow mine at Our Lady Beth on Spotify, or better yet, start a tradition of building a Halloween playlist every year. Question of the day, what is your favorite Halloween song? Maybe you'll spark an idea for the 2022 playlist. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you still haven't joined the Dots and Beyond family. We'd love to have you. Don't forget, the 2022 Fierce Fictional Female Journal giveaway is coming later this year. Make sure you check out that description box for supplies used in this setup, including this A&5 journal from Archer and Olive. You can save 10% on your Archer and Olive order with the code DMB10 or by clicking on the link below. Thank you for having some festive Halloween fun with me today, and I will see you next week.